Hi there, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to talk about the Edinburgh Lectures on Mental Science, Chapter 11, Healing. Let's get right into it. Healing. Now, if you're new here, my name is Miguel Martinez, and talk about fitness, law of attraction, and life. All right, so let's get to it. I'm going to read a few quotes that strengthen the main idea of this chapter. Okay, and the main idea of this chapter is that when you create a circumstance, it's all about belief. Now, the most empowering thing is knowing that beliefs are first cause. Thought is first cause. Thought is what creates a circumstance. Now, when it comes to healing, the problem is that people believe that they are sick and that sickness is something so strong that they can't get away from. Like it's something that's so substantial, so powerful, so important that it's like it has to happen. And so they're stuck in that situation of being, hurt, sick, etc. Okay. And so what we want to do is know that we are perfect and that there is no circumstance of illness, okay, in the divine mind. And because we hold that thought, it becomes something. All right. So let's get into the quotes so it can help you understand. Again, remember, repeat the main message. Belief creates circumstance. Know that you are perfect, and when it comes to healing, so that it becomes a manifestation, a physical manifestation. And three, you can go back and remember that you are perfect, that you are spirit, and from there create your physical reality, be it through thought, belief, or through a form. Okay, thought form. Because when we think, we think in either in language or in forms, in pictures. Okay, that's the most powerful thing that humans have. We have speech and we have imagination, and that's where everything comes from. Our self-talk and our images. Here's the first quote, and it's very long, so stay with me. Now, the principle universally laid down by all mental healers, in whatever various terms they may explain it, is that the basis of all healing is a change in belief. The sequence from which this results is as follows. The subjective mind is the creative faculty within us and creates whatever the objective mind impresses upon it. The objective mind or intellect impresses its thought upon it. The thought is the expression of the belief. I'm going to repeat that again. The subjective is the creative faculty within us and creates whatever the objective mind impresses upon it. The objective mind or intellect impresses its thought upon it. The thought is the expression of the belief. Hence, whatever the subjective mind creates is the reproduction externally of our beliefs. Hence, I'm going to repeat again. Hence, whatever the subjective mind creates is the reproduction externally of our beliefs. Okay, so whatever we are doing. It is what it is. Yeah. Oh, man. It helped me in Mama. A sad way. I understand being a better criminal. Yeah, that's what it does. Gladiator school. Yeah. You know? Okay. So, my cat stepped on my computer and turned on the podcast I was listening to. I was listening to Negra and Young Beeves. I love Young Beeves because he talks about how he changed his life and just being conscious of what was wrong and how to change. And I'm just, taking those steps. All right, why is asking so much? You know what I'm saying? Let's take a little break and take Look at him. Why are you scratching so much? You got you got fleas? You're scratching. You just dirty? Just dirty, Martin? Man, I gotta shower him probably. I don't see no fleas on him. Look at his balls. No. All right. So that part that I just shared with you pretty much sums up everything you need to know about manifesting. You create a belief. When it comes to healing, you say, "I am healthy," or "I am healed." You know, if you're sick, you know, um, or just as a general self-talk practice, affirmation. You call it affirmation. You call it state of consciousness. You could call it self-talk. It's the same thing. You're talking to yourself, and what you say to yourself about yourself will manifest. It's that we have a lot of ideas that we've been programmed with that make us believe that we get sick. Oh, it's cold, we're gonna get sick. Oh, it's hot, you're gonna get sick. You go back into an AC place, you're gonna get sick. Oh, it's that season, you're gonna get sick. Some bullshit ass ideas, okay? And because you hear them over and over again, and now that you're being conscious of them, you're like, oh shit, yeah, I did hear that. My parents or whoever raised you, like, or say that or what have you. And so it's an ingrained thought in your subconscious mind. So guess what? You get when you have the season or when you go into an AC room, that belief gets triggered, and guess what? You're sick because you believe it. You feel me? Now, let's say I got some muscle. I say I'm strong. I'm muscular as fuck, and I say that over and over again. And guess what? I'm gonna be strong. I'm gonna be muscular as fuck, and that becomes an ingrained thought. So guess what happens when I wake up the next day after working out? I'm yoked. I see my muscles. I see my veins. I see my abs. But now let's pretend you're working out, but you believe you don't have this positive self-talk. You say, "Oh, I'm a fat ass. I'm always gonna be fat. This shit is so hard. It's hard to get in shape." Guess what you're gonna look like when you wake up and turn on that light and look at yourself in the mirror? Exactly what you said about yourself. You're fat, and it's really hard, so it's not gonna happen for you. You feel me? Let's get to it. Let's get to the next one. Accordingly, our whole object is to change our beliefs, and we cannot do this without some solid ground of conviction of the falsity of our old beliefs and of the truth of our new ones. And this ground we find in the law of causation, which I have endeavored to explain. The wrong belief, which externalizes as sickness, is the belief that some secondary cause, which is really only a condition, is a primary cause. Okay. See, you're again. This is what I was explaining to you. He's a little hard to understand sometimes, but he says that if you're sick, you've externalized a belief that some secondary cause, some condition, secondary cause is a condition, primary cause is thought. So you're thinking that a circumstance is a primary cause. Okay, you're thinking that something outside of you has an effect on you, and that's how it works. No, it's you affect the circumstance. Something that Viktor Frankl said that's very, very empowering is that, quote, between stimulus and response, I have the freedom and power to choose the response. Always. In the face of adversity, in the face of being killed through, that racist genocide that Hitler had against Jewish people, in the face of it, he chose to be peace. He chose to visualize. Okay. I'm not sure if he was a doctor already or a professor already, but he visualized himself being a professor and teaching people, professing the subject that he was teaching. Similar to my story, when I was incarcerated, and I put myself there, of course. I'm not saying that he didn't put himself there, because we all have an agreement when something manifests. We have some sort of agreement with it, and I would picture myself being in college, and I got to UCLA. Okay, I got to UCLA with scholarships and everything. All right, scholarships and everything. Now, let's continue. The knowledge of the law shows that there is only one primary cause, and this is the factor which, in our own individuality, we call subjective or subconscious mind. The one and only, well, the first cause, the thing that creates everything that we see, is the subconscious mind or the universal mind. The subconscious mind, which is your subconscious mind, is linked to the universal mind, which is in the plane of the ideals, the non physical, the imagination, the spiritual plane, whatever you want to call it. It's the non physical plane where there is no time and space. Everything is now. And you can have anything you want now. I wonder what's going on out there. My dog is barking. But I digress. Let's continue on with the next quotes. There's a lot of quotes. And they help with explaining and understanding how to manifest. Okay, especially when it comes to healing. This is why this is what the chapter is about. Healing, but it can be used for anything. Now, the only conception you can have of yourself in the absolute or unconditioned is as purely living spirit, not hampered by conditions of any sort, and therefore not subject to illness. And when this idea is firmly impressed on the subconscious mind, it will externalize it. The reason why this process is not always successful at the first attempt is that all our life we have been holding the false belief in sickness as a substantial entity in itself and thus being a primary cause instead of being merely a negative condition resulting from the absence of a primary cause. And a belief which has become ingrained from childhood cannot be eradicated at a moment's notice. We often find, therefore, that for some time after a treatment, there is an improvement in the patient's health, and then the old symptoms return. This is because the new belief in his own creative faculty has not yet had time to penetrate down to the innermost depths of the subconscious mind, but has only partially entered it. Each succeeding treatment strengthens the subconscious mind in its hold of the new belief until at last a permanent cure is effected. This is the method of self treatment based on the patient's own knowledge of the law of his being. So you got to do this with repetition. Okay. I have more than enough money. Okay. I still say my affirmation. I have more than enough money. I feel so relieved now that I have more money than I could ever spend. I feel so relieved now that I have more money that I could ever spend. I feel so relieved now that I have more money than I can ever spend. Again, I feel so relieved now that I have more money than I can ever spend. Repetition, you got to do it over and over and over again. Let it seep into every cell of your being and feel it to be true. You'll start seeing, like Thomas Troward says, you'll start seeing that you'll get better. If you're sick, you start seeing that you'll get better. But then maybe you'll revert back. Why? Because you haven't fully impressed your mind with the idea that you are perfect, that you are spirit. And there is no sickness in spirit. Okay? When in the ideal, there is only the ideal. Okay? And the universe operates in three fundamental aspects, and I haven't tatted. Life, so it's for you.
benefits you and its power, because life is power. So you have infinite power and support. Okay, have the line. Love, okay, it is love and it is beauty. Okay, beauty is order, harmony, symmetry. Yeah, and when you want something, it's from one of those areas: life, love, beauty, health, wealth, love, and happiness. That's life: health, wealth, love, and happiness. The universe gives it to you. It's all a choice. It's all your belief, your self talk, your self talk. Let me say that again: your self talk. This is why I always have positive affirmations that I say or listen to in the morning and or write down. Regardless, I'm listening to something positive, positive affirmation. I'm doing my gratitude or I'm writing down positive affirmations, positive self-talk. I actually have my paper right here that I wrote down earlier. There's a little something I want to share. Okay, here, it's right here. I found it. Quote, it must be understood that the purpose of the process here described is to strengthen the subject's individuality, not to dominate it. To use it for domination is inversion, bringing its appropriate penalty to the operator. In this description, I have contemplated the case where the patient is consciously cooperating with the healer. And it is in order to obtain this cooperation that the mental healer usually makes a point of instructing the patient in the broad principles of mental science, if he is not already acquainted with them. This is not always advisable or possible. Okay. Now, the purpose of when somebody, like what you're doing right now, a true healer, I'm basically healing you from your incorrect thoughts of lack to riches, sickness to health, from self hate or feeling unworthy to self love and self worthiness, feeling worthy, self validated. When you feel validated, the universe will validate you back. If you feel worthy, the universe will show you that you're worthy because you feel worthy. Okay. And you'll get love, because you feel love. You see yourself with love, meaning you have a partner. Okay. Self love is just doing the things that are going to give you self worth, like positive self talk, exercise, eating healthy, being around good people, because you love yourself. You're not going to be. Earlier today, I said, I told my friend's dad who I saw at the park, and my dad, who I was walking with my dad, I ran into him at the park. And we said like dogs usually bark at people who are negative, who have a negative vibe, and that's when yeah, like dogs will bark at you, even bite you if you're a negative vibe because you're anxious, you're fearful, whatever it is. They don't like that, So why would what you wouldn't want to be around negative people? If somebody's angry, super angry, super like anxious and like weird, you know, you don't want to go like, hey man, come here, hug me, let's hang out, let's do this, let's do that. No, you want to go, you're like, get away from me. You want to go out with somebody who's the same vibe as you, like being positive, right? The only person who probably will hug you is your mom. Other than that, you know, nobody else will. No parent, or a caregiver. Other than that, nobody else will. You'll be like, man, just kick rocks, bruh. Kick rocks. Ain't got time for that shit. Um, that's just how it is, and it's true. You control your vibe. Nobody else can control your vibe. That means you're reactive to the outside world, the world of the reflection, the world of conditions, and a condition is the result of your belief. So if you're reacting to a condition, you're just on loop, on loop, on loop, on loop. That's what I think. That's what you'd be called a NPC. You're an NPC. Okay, NPC is non-player character, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Comment below. Um, NPC. I think that's what it stands for. Non-player character. So like you're not playing the game. You're just a robot. And I think a lot of people are like that. The majority, maybe like 50 to 70% of people. You need to have dreams. Dreams become physical reality. I don't know who said they were not. Daydream daily, often. Visualize and feel it to be true. Ask yourself, how do you feel now that it's true? Oh, but going back to the quote that I read, it's about if somebody you're listening to somebody on the law of assumption, the law of attraction, manifestation. Like you don't need me. I'm just giving you the principles and the practices. It is you who create. It is you who heals yourself. Because he gives an example of a healer, be it in person or not in person. We're all connected. And so you like right now, I'm pouring out my understanding of the universal laws of Thomas Trower's book into your conscious and subconscious mind because you're receptive. You're not receptive if you're talking shit about me right now and talking shit about the principles I'm talking about. No, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. You're not being receptive. But if you're like, okay, I'm here to learn, I feel like this guy knows what he's talking about, and I feel it to be true. So you're accepting, okay? You're being a vacuum. Okay, he uses the word vacuum, and then there's another word I forget. I forget he uses. See, because he's very educated, he uses a lot of big words. Uh, plenum. He says, willing to receive. The patient as passively willing to receive according to the universal law of nature that the flow must always be from the plenum to the vacuum. From the whole to the vacuum. I think my groceries right here. Go over here, sit down. Over here, sit down. Hey, all the way down. All the way down. Thank you. All right, I'm back. From a whole, something substantive to an empty space that accepts it. So that's going to wrap it up. The best ways that I manifest is through the affirmation. How do I feel now that I have my car, a certain car that I want parked over here? And then I feel it and summon that feeling. Okay? That's how you do it. That's how I do it. Also, I close my eyes, get relaxed. I either say I'm really relaxed, I'm relaxed. I'm totally relaxed. I got that from Bob Proctor. Or I count to 0. I take a deep breath, 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out, 3, 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out, 2, and then I go down to 0, and then I start visualizing. But before that, I set an intention. When I count to 0, I will be in the perfect state to manifest. Okay. Also, before all of this, okay, so I kind of did this backwards. I went from manifestation, visualization, and the pre work, and then before the countdown or telling myself I'm really relaxed, I reset my nervous system. I do 4-6-6. Hold, breathe in 4 seconds, hold 6 seconds, exhale 6 seconds. It just relaxes the body, and then I go into the countdown, or I tell myself I'm really relaxed. Because you need to be relaxed. A state akin to sleep. Okay, the state akin to sleep. Be relaxed, and then start visualizing the thing that you want. See yourself already with it. Neville Goddard recommends seeing yourself, um, see yourself following the accomplishment. So see, let's say you want a car, right? And so you say, how do I feel now that my car is parked out here? in my carport or my parking garage or whatever. But say this specific car, and then you feel that feeling. It's already done. You're not like in at the car dealer or what have you. But it also can help if you see yourself already like driving it. That's already like you already have it. When I was incarcerated and I was visualize myself in college, I would see myself in college already. I didn't see myself with a diploma or something or like seeing it on the wall. Although you could do that, but I was already there. Okay, so I wasn't like trying to get in. I wasn't outside looking in. I was in. I was there. Okay, so see yourself with the baddie, with the boyfriend, whatever it is. Um, see yourself already healthy. See yourself lifting the weight you want to see yourself with. See yourself healthy already. I healed my shoulder that was chafing me. I'll say chafing me because it was like a nuance. It's like it just kind of like you know. But now it's perfectly healed. Both are perfectly strong, and I had to tell myself my shoulders are perfectly healed. My shoulders are perfectly healed, and I had to stay just consistent with that and see myself lift. And so when I started lifting, I was like, "Wow, it's already healed." Why is this guy scratching himself so much? Already searched him. There's no fleas on him. So just visualize yourself with it. I like the apple uh, example that I give. If you want an apple, see yourself with the apple, biting it, or maybe it's on your table and you're eating dinner or something like that, and you're eating the apple. You're not looking through a window outside somebody's house, your neighbor's house, like, oh, I want that apple, or outside the grocery store, and you're like, oh, I want that apple. You're looking through, like, oh, I want it. You're always gonna want it, and you're gonna manifest that. Versus you biting it, enjoying it. You get it now? You feel me? You just gotta keep on doing it. Summon the feeling throughout the day. Summon the feeling. 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 I just summoned one right now. Like, ask yourself, how do you feel now that you have whatever it is? And then it might be happiness, it might be joy, it might be relief. For me, this one is deep relief. Summon the feeling. And if you have time, if you can, close your eyes, visualize the scene where you have it. Look at your hands, look around your hands, and touch the thing that you want, or maybe see yourself doing the thing you want. See the people, feel feel the temperature, the climate, the smell, they'll hear the voices, and then come out. And then if you're like shocked, like, oh whoa, oh shit, I was just really, really into that daydream, you were there. And then just say it is done. And know that it must manifest. Have the feeling it's done. It's already done. It must manifest in circumstance. Have that knowing, have that understanding. It must show up. And know that it's already done. Have that feeling, the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And allow things just to happen. Don't worry about it. If you're like forcing shit, forcing a moving, you're not there. You're overthinking, you're scared, you're like thinking, thinking, thinking. Nah. Just let it go. Let it go and it'll come to you. Just like a cat. I like what Brendan said. Like a cat. It'll come to you. It'll be like a cat, you let you pet it. The thing that you desire will come to you so effortlessly and easily. The action won't feel like action because it's so joyful. It's just you're in the moment, you're joyful. You know, it's like sex. And with sex, you're not like, oh, this is so hard. You're just like enjoying it. Okay, unless you're in a rush. But why would you want to, have sex if you're in a rush? Just enjoy it. But yeah, um, enjoy this process. Enjoy the visualization, enjoy the affirmation, the aspiration, enjoy the feeling that you feel. Just summon it throughout the day. Because that's all we're doing is we're choosing a thought and a new identity, a new concept of ourselves that has the thing that we desire, and then adjusting our frequency, the way we feel about that state of being, that identity. We have it. We have it. I have it. I have it. It's done. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is done. That's all we're doing is changing our frequency, adjusting